Hey, welcome back, everyone. Just to get it out of the way, if you're 18 or old or older, you're very much welcome. If not, please, you have to leave. And again, this is not medical advice. This is not me telling you to go consume anything or to go buy anything. This is just me giving you information. So if you decide to buy anything or if you decide to consume anything, you can have the information to do it safely. And this is just for education and knowledge. All right. So let's move on. All right. Today I have some stuff I want to get back into. I mentioned it slightly yesterday in one of my reviews. I am actually sick because of what I'm about to talk about. That's why I kept like clearing my throat and like drinking a lot of water. Basically, I actually got two A's and they really messed me up. And the reason that they messed me up is I just found out recently about this that the OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, the people that like pretty much regulate the growers and all of this dispensaries, they have decided to remove the safety limit on bacteria and mold in our New York State cannabis program. So this leaves it up to the grower to decide if their product is safe or not. And recently, I got a product from Heady Tree. I got two of them that were not so great. And the one of them got me really sick. I was throwing up. I have problems like breathing right now because of that stuff. If you breathe in mold, it will really mess you up, and that's what I've been suffering. And that's why I wasn't recording or anything. For a couple of days, I was really sick, just really out of it, just trying to feel better. And yeah, now I'm like always like I feel like I'm congested. I feel like I'm like, really mucusy in there because it's like my body's healing from that nasty stuff. So I want to give you guys information about this company. I want to tell you, please check your COAs. We're going to get into that today. It's important that you know how to read an COA really. We're going to go over it slightly. I might go more into information on it later. But I really want to give you this information here. All right. So the company I'm going to be talking about is Heady Tree. All right. I'm gonna not lie. When I initially started getting their stuff, they were decent. This is probably because there was those guidelines back then. Until they were removed, they're not so decent no more. I got two of their products. I got the Gastronaut Status and the Project 518. And the mold and the Project 518 is at almost 50,000. And only New York City have I seen with a 100,000 limit. Everywhere else is 10,000. So this 100,000 limit is not safe. 10,000 is, relatively could be questioned if safe or not. But 100,000 definitely not safe. That 10,000 limit is widely known to be the limit. Like all across recreational programs, it's usually 10K, not 100K. So even when New York had it up, it was still 10 times higher than everyone else's because for some reason New York can't keep their weed clean. Or not clean, but can't keep their weed moldy or away from bacteria for some reason. So basically, yeah, the weed was testing pretty high and mold and stuff, and you could tell it was dry. It definitely tasted like this because after the first thing I went to go bring it back, it was tearing my throat up. It was horrible stuff, and I got really sick off of it. And that's not even the worst offenders. Some of their apes are testing at like, all right, some of like the worst ones are testing at, let's say, the Trop Tsunami aerobic bacteria like pretty much on an eighth. Let's keep the weight in like mind. 153,000 CFU. And we're gonna get to the CFU and all of that. It's really you don't really understand, but the point is that it's high. Just understand that that's really high. And the yeast and mold is at 320,000. So even with New York's high standard of low standard, like consider I'm saying high as in a higher than everyone else's like limit, but New York's low standard of yeast and mold, this still shoots it away by 3 times. If 100,000 was still the thing, this would have failed 3 times over. So this is what we have on the market: extremely dangerous cannabis from companies, and there's no way to keep them like honest, pretty much, right? Because if they fail, all it says is tested on the certificate of analysis, right? And another thing is, when you go to dispensary, do not make the purchase until you check the COA. I know it seems tedious. I know it might be annoying. And if you get any crap from the dispensary, immediately stop doing business with them. Because if somebody doesn't want to keep you safe, they don't deserve your money. Simple, point blank. If I was running the dispensary, I would advise you to do it at the counter. Actually, if I was there, to be honest, because I want you to be healthy. Not everybody else cares. So please make sure you check those COAs. It's a simple scan, of a QR code. All you gotta do is there's a QR code on every single one. If you need help, ask a bud tender. They will help you. And there's certain I don't really want to say because I don't want to act like I'm sending people to places, but there's really good company dispensaries that will treat you really respectfully. They'll bring the products that you want to see out. You can scan the QR code to get the certificate of analysis, and you can go over it with them. Or if you can understand it, and I would advise for you to get the knowledge to how to understand those lab reports, right? Because it's best if you have the better understanding, because nobody can pull a wool over your eyes, right? So, and yeah, pretty much it's really easy too. You can just go on Google, look up common standards of safety in cannabis in other rec markets and compare it to New York. And that's a good way to gauge if it's safe or not, right? That's what I do. In most places usually have a 10K limit on mold. And I've been having headaches, I've been having mucus, I've been feeling woozy, I've been feeling weak, I've been feeling really dehydrated. This is horrible stuff. All because it's right, the whole thing, the spiel was, oh, it's safer if you buy from a dispensary. Really? Are you sure? What are you doing? Because I really feel like I felt like I was dying a couple days ago, and it was, I only bought this, there was I don't buy nothing illegally. I was usually doing business with a medical company, Rise, and that's the company I deal with in particular. But I've been getting kind of fed up with the same strand over and over again. So, not the same strand, but the same strands pretty much. As you can see, I've smoked a lot. And that's not all of my things, honestly. I had to throw some away. But I have smoked a lot of their stuff. I've gotten really used to it. So I was trying to, venture out, try different stuff. Boom. You get sick behind that. So my advice, if you're in medical, stick to the medical. And if you're not, try to get medical. It's not hard. It's really easy. It's become extremely affordable, and it's money safer. You can write off the taxes thing on as an unpaid medical expense at the end of the year because of as having a prescription. So there's many benefits of it, right? So check that out if you don't. And there's easy ways to get it done. All you have to do is just pretty much Google it, right? So yeah, but I just want to go over some of these other results. We have Malibu Bay Breeze. That sounds like a great strand, right? I would definitely want to try that. But you would be smoking almost 500,000 worth of bacteria. So the result would be 470,000 CFU of anaerobic bacteria per unit. So for an eighth, that's in an eighth, almost 500,000 little bacterias on an eighth. That's way too much. And if you know a little bit about this, if they say if it's way too high, there's usually something that's harmful on it. You can Google stuff and they'll tell you if it's really high on bacteria mold, there's something harmful there and you shouldn't smoke it. And that's high. And all of this can be Googled. I have the pictures that I'm gonna try to post share the links, right? But you could just Google Heady Tree Certificate of Analysis site. Boom. The Blue Zushi, one of the ones that were my favorite, the third run of their Blue Zushi, because they go by run. So they'll say Blue Zushi jar, or Blue Zushi jar second run, Blue Zushi jar third run. This is Blue Zushi jar third run, anaerobic bacteria 227,000, mold and yeast 440,000. 4 times the failing limit, even in New York City. I don't even know, because if it's 10K, that's 20,000, 20 times, 30 times the limit in other states. Insane. What is you doing? How can your weed get that dirty, bro? No respect for the plant, I feel like. Like, come on. Yeah, but it's pretty much heady tree, and I've heard a lot about Hudson Cannabis. I can't really give too much about their flower, but I did get a grape dosi from their like their 7.7 gram dimes that they sell, and it was high in bacteria and mold. So a lot of these companies are trying to cut corners because if you grow a crop that's worth 200 grand, right? And let's say $75,000 of that crop is like not gonna pass. If there's nobody telling you, like the OCM is not telling you, you can't sell it out on the market, you're not gonna decide it on your own free will. That's why there's regulations, right? Come on, New York City, like our New York State, pretty much, because this is not only in New York City. This is for the whole New York State. Like, pretty much, it says when you go to the COA, I'm gonna try to learn how to like put stuff on the screen more so, but I'm gonna get there, I promise. But right now, I'm just gonna describe it. But it's pretty much, it says when you look on a COA, when you go down through certain things, each like section has a pass or fail. So if it reaches a certain limit, it's gonna fail. Like if it's on if it's heavy metals, or if it's a concentrate in there's residual solvents, if it's a certain amount of residual solvent, it will fail. If there's like if there's high amounts of like let's say, I don't even know because New York City doesn't test for that much stuff, but like let's say the heavy metals, that's one of the ones that I know that you can fail for, right? Like if you have high heavy metal, you can fail if it tests too high, right? So point is that when you test for the yeast and mold in New York City, it doesn't have that pass or fail. It will say tested because there's no pass or fail. So there's no safety mechanism on yeast or bacteria, yeast, mold, and bacteria, pretty much. So that means, you know, it's up to the regulators. Not like it's not up to them no more. It's up to the growers and the people selling the stuff to decide if their cannabis is safe for us to consume. And obviously, they don't care what they're selling us. And all of us can be, you know, checked out. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to post it, or like try to I'm gonna post it on, I think I'm gonna try to post it on Facebook or something, just to put it out there. But I'm gonna also try to share it with other people and everything. But please keep an eye out. Please just be safe. I really want everyone to enjoy cannabis and not to be scared off from it because of these horrible companies, right? We all love the plant. We all love it for a reason too, because it's have changed so many people's lives. You know, statistics are crazy because, you know, use in elders have shot up because of so many, how it helps in so many of diseases and as you get older and all of these things. So it's extremely helpful, but these people are making it dangerous, and they should be held accountable, and also they should not be able to be selling in our market and be like in our community any longer. You know, after one or two tries, if you can't get it together, that's it. Come on, pack it up. And that's another thing. Like I wanted to bring you this up too. I've been talking to this about with my local dispensary. I've seen companies that were in LA or California, let's say, they were out there. They got a bad rap. They got a bad if they had a big LA Times and Weed Weekly did this big expose where a bunch of companies had been like shown to have high pesticides and flower concentrates, pre-rolls, etc. Right? And some of those companies that were blatantly one of the worst like offenders out there, they came over here. And some of those companies are Crew and Dime and Stizzy and stuff like that. They shouldn't be on the market. And actually, Stizzy my dispensary told me Stizzy was pulled off the market because they were getting their flower from another state. And a couple other companies, they didn't tell me the other companies, but they did tell me Stizzy was pulled. So I don't understand why this is okay anymore. And it's all because the way OCM is just like fiending to make sure they can get that tax money from the cannabis. They're willing to risk the consumer's health. They're willing to risk regulations. They're willing to risk like people's safety, all types of stuff, just to make sure the cannabis like thing is like strong and working and goes out like 100%. You know, and the reason that they say you know, all right, like on the medical side, you can't have cannabis that tests like the mold, and the mold has to be at 10K or lower, right? Because if you're immunocompromised, you can get really sick from it. What if you don't know you're immunocompromised and you go to a dispensary? Boom, that's all it needs to be done, right? And I mean, it's not hard for those things to come together. Like, it's really not. So there's high amounts of ignorance, and people don't care. And bad actors like lobbyists for the tobacco companies, for the alcohol companies, and people that just don't like pot in its general, like, they will jump on any opportunity to make this look like it's weed's fault and not the people's fault. You understand? So we need to hold these people accountable. We need to make sure that they know that we're upset about these things. And like I said, please check your COAs. It's really a simple thing, with concentrates. It's certain things you want to check with concentrates, and there's certain things you want to check with flowers. Concentrates, you want to check pretty much for the residual solvents, stuff like that, the heavy metals, things like that. You also want to check for mold and stuff, but not really so much on that, because it's usually really fresh when they get unless it's cured, but really it's not like that there. But you really want to check for the residual solvents. That's the big thing that you want to look out for in concentrates, and especially if it's not solventless. If it's solventless, you're good to go pretty much. Check it anyways, I would say, especially in New York, because I've had rosin that said water hash rosin had 6 different solvents in it, and I don't really want to keep throwing dirt on companies, because I'm not like that. But it's not about the dirt or anything, that it's about our safety. I want everyone to enjoy cannabis at the top peak level of safety and enjoyment, and you can't do that if you're afraid or getting hurt, and that's why I'm getting upset. And the company that had that in their rosin, it was in a cart. This cart actually, that's why it's not finished. I mean, most of it is, but I was trying to smoke it, and I kept getting a weird taste. I looked at the COA, and basically it has 6 different solvents. I got a live resin cart. This is garlic drip. I got a Star Killer. The Star Killer had one so low amount of one residual solvent. This rosin had 6 low amounts. I don't get it. So I brought it up. They said, oh, maybe it could have got in there somehow from something, rah rah rah. Excuse. It shouldn't be in there. I don't care. I don't care. If I'm paying for solventless, I want the solventless stuff, right? Because that stuff is premium. So I really paying the money for it. Give me what I paid for. But their rosin, the rosin is good. I think it's these carts. I think whatever they do to make these carts, they have to do weird stuff to get it goopy or whatever enough, because the rosin is really thick, and that doesn't look like the rosin I get in these jars. So there's something going on with these carts. So I would say, if you're sticking to like I was just saying, if you're checking out concentrates, I would just say stick with the solventless. You can get decent ones that are safe. Still check the COA just to be on the safe side, but do some research on the company you're looking into. But if you're getting live resin, sugars, waxes, shatters, or whatever the hell it is anymore with all these BHOs, please, I mean please, because these are one of the most dangerous things in cannabis is residual solvents. And I mean, not in cannabis, let me correct that. That could be in a concentrate, right? So I just want to make sure that people know that's really a dangerous contributor, especially things like xylene and toluene and things like that. They're really dangerous. So just like I said, when you go through your COA, check that for a concentrate. And when you're going through flower, you want to check the mold, the water activity, the anaerobic bacteria, and of course all the other things like THC and all that other stuff. Heavy metals and stuff like that, of course, because you could be contaminated through water sources or whatever, because cannabis is a hyperaccumulator. So whatever's in the dirt that it's growing in, it will suck that into the plant. Whatever's there, whether it be lead or this or whatever it is, it's going to bring that up into the flowers and the buds, and that's going to be what you're smoking, right? So that's why it's important to check those too. So be careful and just, check it out. It's a really simple method. It's like, it just says, it's going to tell you the number. It's going to say result. That's the amount that's going to be given. Then there's going to be an action limit. That's the number that has to be where it's unsafe. So your result, if it's higher than the action limit, then it's unsafe. If it's lower, then it should be safe. But I don't even suggest that sometimes either. I would do some self research because, like I said, in New York, they say certain things that are safe. I don't think it's safe with the mold and bacteria. So 100K is not safe for consumption for no one. I wouldn't say. So just like I said, some companies like I forgot who it was, but I actually got this. The Boscotti from Flower House. They have only 440. Such a low count for an eighth, right? So nowhere near 440,000. Like, what the hell? Like, come on, bro. So yeah, I mean, my whole point of this is I wanted to elaborate. Kind of mentioned it in passing about why I was being sick and all of that, but I think this is deserving of more of information. Like, it's scary, it's dangerous, and it shouldn't be happening. So please be careful, everyone. It's just again, I don't understand why companies think that this is okay, and I don't think that people are really aware because there's no information being posted about, or there's no way to really be informed. I think so I think this is a way of being informed. I want to make a community to bring everyone together so we can understand of how to be safe and how to be strong and actually have a voice, and to keep these growers and regulators honest, and trying to hold them accountable, because it's not right to be selling something that people go to for like happiness and etc., or healing and relief, that's going to cause pain and hurt and all types of bad stuff. So thank you for being here, thank you for hanging out. Again, it was great recording. I'm really getting into this. I always wanted to make a YouTube channel. I had many ideas, but I really am into cannabis. Cannabis has changed my life to no extent. I really love it. I want to grow it. I want to really start getting into the community and everything, and that's what this whole channel is about. So again, thank you for being here. Like and subscribe, and please leave comments. I really want to hear from anyone that's watching, and please just like if you haven't, and I want to just hear from anyone that's out there. Thanks.